Well, the Prime Minister has called it a disappointing result. That's the fact that Canada has no deal, and we are now facing higher tariffs from the U.S. 35% is the number that we're sitting at. That puts us in the top 5 of tariffs, countries that have been tariffed around the world. We're going to bring back in Ian Lee, Associate Professor for the Sprott School of Business at Carleton University. I can see you, I can hear you, which is exactly what we want. Ian, where does this leave us this morning?
You know, the deal literally hangs in the balance. I think that, and I'm not here to defend Mr. Trump at all, but I think that he is using the threat of the tariffs and indeed the announcement of the imposition of an increase in the tariff rate as a pressure on the negotiators in Washington. Clearly, it is not going. He is not achieving, or the American negotiators are not achieving the outcome that President Trump wants to see. And so I think whether he's using the right argument of fentanyl or not, there are concessions that he is seeking, it seems to me, in the negotiations. They're not occurring yet, and so he's decided to up the ante, if you will, by increasing the tariff rate on Canadian goods.
And to remind everybody, we're at 35% across the board, 50% for aluminum, steel, and copper. But there are some exemptions with the CUSMA compliance. And we were speaking earlier today with Mark Rendell from the Globe and Mail, who was saying once you factor that in, on average, it can work out to about 5% of tariffs, depending on what your business is.
That's absolutely right. The protection for us thus far, and I do emphasize thus far, is the current CUSMA agreement, which exempts about 90% of goods crossing into the United States from tariffs. That reduces the effective overall rate to 5%. That doesn't sound that bad compared to other countries who are facing much larger, higher effective tariff rates, such as China and Europe. What worries me greatly is that so far so good, but if President Trump decides to abrogate or cancel CUSMA, and there is a clause, a cancellation clause in CUSMA, to cancel the CUSMA agreement, then that 35% will apply on everything going across the border. And we know, because he's unpredictable, that this is not beyond the realm of possibility that he could cancel the CUSMA agreement if he doesn't achieve what he wants.
I'm going to get to large industry in a moment, but I want to pick up on something one of our small business owners that we interviewed today talked about, and that was this removal of the exemption of goods under $800. And so that has been taken away, so small businesses are going to feel that. Can you expand on that a little bit?
It's called the de minimis rule, and what the Canada did it 2 years ago, the U.S. did it, and just because the paperwork on small imported goods, you know, a $50 good or a $100 good, a $200 good, was, you know, messy, inefficient, complicated, time-consuming, the government introduced this rule and said, look, anything under $800, it'll just come in free of tariffs, no problem. The de minimis rule, the minimum rate at which the value at which the tariff kicked in. So he's abrogated that. He's canceled that. So that means now that small businesses that are bringing in small goods, small amounts of goods, small value goods, are going to be hit with not only a lot of paperwork, but with this tax on the goods that they were not paying before. So it's going to really fall disproportionately on small businesses across Canada and the United States.
I know how you feel about tariffs. You have said it many times, but given the situation we're in, should Canada hit back with retaliatory tariffs?
I think it would be the worst possible thing we could do for 2 separate reasons. One is that the retaliatory tariffs will not fall on Americans. It will fall on us, we the Canadian people. And there is no compelling argument by anyone, starting with Premier Ford, who is advocating this, that says that putting tariffs on Canadians to try to punish Donald Trump is going to achieve his end. Secondly, President publicly, repeatedly, that if you I'm really going to increase the rate on you, and the idea that we can actually compete in a tit-for-tat battle or a war, trade war with the United States is, I believe, it's delusional, because they are so massively large, 30 trillion GDP, and we're 2.2 trillion GDP. So we cannot win. This is, you know, the Pee Wee League taking on the NFL or the NHL.
So this is not a David and Goliath where David wins in the end.
David's not going to win at the end of this. One more quick point, Anne-Marie, why it's so important we have a deal is that the knock-on effect, I predict that if for some reason that we announce there's not going to be a deal, the knock-on effects are going to be much worse, because I believe that the currency markets, the dollar will go down, the capital markets will go down, capital will flee the country to try to get inside the tariff barriers of the United States. And so it's the knock-on effect of no deal that's going to be catastrophic for Canadians.
Ian Lee, we appreciate your time this morning and your analysis always. Have a great weekend.
Same to you, Anne-Marie. Thank you very much.
If you like that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.